Okay. So, I'm gonna be talking about global warming and its effects on Earth. I'm not too big of a tech person, so I'm not sure how to do the whole screen mirror thing and edit myself in the corner while you guys watch it and stuff. So, I'll just like put it, attach it to the link in the video or something, or when I submit it. But when did global warming start? So, global warming has been around for nearly 2,000 years, with evidence of warming appearing as early as the 1830s. Although the rate of the temperature decreasing has been doubling since 1981. So essentially, global warming has been around for a pretty long time, although it did start getting more severe just recently, and it's just become more of a problem now with, like, I would say population and stuff. So, what causes global warming? Global warming has many contributors to its rising temperatures. A main one is fossil fuels like coal, oil, and gas. Um, that accounts for 68% of global greenhouse gas emissions and nearly 90% of all carbon dioxide emissions. Um, Again, fossil fuels, well, this one isn't necessarily fossil fuels, but it's manufacturing goods. But to manufacture goods requires fossil fuels to burn energy, to generate energy. The machines that also manufacture the goods, it could be anything from like clothes and stuff like that, run on coal, oil, or gas, which also contribute to the rising temperature. Another big contributor to rising temperature is transportation. So a lot of planes, buses, cars, things that just run on gas and stuff, or run on fossil fuels, account for nearly 1/4 of global energy-related carbon dioxide emissions. Now that's a lot, and I feel like more and more people start driving every day, um, especially with the growing population. I would say. Um, so there's definitely a lot of cars out there that shouldn't don't have to be out there, but that is a big contributor to global warming. What happens with the rise in temperature? For starters, global warming is affecting the environment in many ways, one which includes the rising in sea level. Now, this one is kind of interesting because I was reading online about how polar bears are suffering a lot in the and in Antarctica because of the rising global temperature is melting all the glaciers and the ice. So the sea level is rising. So you have cities like Venice and who are like being submerged underwater, and that has to do with global warming. Another effect of global warming is drought, which can harm food production and human health. So with global warming comes rising temperatures. It's less likely for rain to occur, um, which in turn causes drought. And then if you have a drought, you don't get water. If you're running low on water, no food, and um, you can get like heat stroke, and it just it also like causes mosquitoes, ticks, and other pets to expand and carry diseases to new locations where they normally wouldn't be because of the drought. How can we stop it? There are multiple ways to lower our own carbon footprint and slowing down the rate of rising temperatures. Things such as using renewable energy, which could be anything from using wind, sunlight, water, organic waste, and heat from the earth itself to generate a form of energy. Um, that's just one of the ways you can stop it. Another way you can do it is, I don't say carpool if you can, carpool when you can, or try and take a bike if or walk if you know it's like a short distance where you don't have to take a car. Be mindful, just if you leave the lights on and stuff, just like basic things like that. One main thing I wanted to talk about was the Paris Agreement, which the Paris Agreement was a historic breakthrough that occurred at the UN Climate Change Conference in Paris. The agreement set long-term goals to guide all nations to substantially reduce global greenhouse gas emissions, to hold global temperature increase to well below 2 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels, and pursue efforts to limit it to 1.5 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels, recognizing that this would significantly reduce the risk and impacts of climate change. Now, I think this is very important, and I think that it's great that the United Nations decided to do this. Although It might be lacking a little nowadays, but I still think it's very great. And I think that, yeah, it's great. Um, there's some other things that the Paris Agreement says, but I'll just link it in the PowerPoint so you guys can see it because it's a lot. And another thing I did want to talk about was the climate clock. And the climate clock is a representation of time left to limit the global warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius. It is a representation of the time we have left to stop global warming or slow down its progress. So essentially, it's this climate clock. You can look it up online. It's just called climate clock, where they predict the time that we have left before we can't reverse global warming anymore. So in conclusion, global warming is a prominent issue in our world and is caused by multiple sources. With the rise in temperature comes changes to the environment and negative impacts to our everyday lives. Although it doesn't look good, there are ways to lower our carbon footprint and stop the rising temperatures, or at least slow them down. If we don't start changing things soon, though, it will be too late to do anything at all.